this week. Just kidding. I said in one of my other videos that I always start with the word so.
I didn't know it started. I was making that noise with my mouth.
Well, I did this one on purpose because I made note in one of my IGTV videos of how I start with so, and I just keep going.
I wanted you to let me know when we started. I was gonna go, "Good morning, Vietnam."
Yeah, because that's original. Oh my God, you do better than that.
All the stuff that we say is just quotes from movies. That's it.
Well, I guess so. I guess that one fits here.
Yeah, and I felt like it fit pretty well. I mean, it's not clever, but it fits.
Well, I know this. Robin Williams was the man.
Yeah, he was.
Golly, obviously tormented, but a hilarious man.
Yeah.
I brought up the subject earlier about the creative process to you, and here's the reason why. First of all, when we do this kind of thing, we don't like lay out a big long discussion and have this long discussion. We really do want this to be fresh, and straight from the heart. Oh my God, that sounded dorky, but we really do want it to be a cheese ball. But we really do want it to be fresh and from within and not sort of thought through necessarily.
Well, we think a lot of things, and we think them often. And we think we should share those things with you.
Well, I have a list that I carry with me in my phone. It's on a little notepad, and something hits me, and I'm thinking about it, and I go, wait a minute, this sounds, I bet other people are thinking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular thing, the creative process, I get asked, and you do too, I get asked often when someone sees a piece that's done, and they're very intrigued by it, and the question becomes, what were you thinking when you did that? Well, give me the details of it, and it's such a not easy question to answer, because that creative process is quite involved sometimes. I know you've got one in particular I want you to talk about, and especially the length of time it took. But I have a couple I want to be specific about. But in general, this isn't necessarily just if you're an artist, you'll get something out of this little discussion. It's not. I don't see it like that at all, because for me, the creative process, it happens in almost every way, every day for me. And how I feel when I wake up and my feet hit the ground, what my mindset is going to be, and when I go into do any kind of work or talk to somebody, it's a process that I walk through on everyday life. I've just happened to be able to do it with acrylic on canvas. Mm-hmm. The creative process, when does it begin? The answer, it already has. I don't know that I can give you a date and time for when something begins like that. There's not been a single thing that I've ever put my heart into, as in the form of artwork, that I didn't already have some kind of history, some kind of back to it. Like, even if I do one with wings. I've been thinking about angels and wings and, who I am as a person for years and years. Now, a specific piece might have a little bit of inspiration, or the corner that it hangs on, how it's going to look, how I'm going to treat it, the colors that are picked, the texture and all that kind of stuff, the size. All those kind of things sometimes are just a matter of, I have this blank canvas over here, and I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to do it this particular size, and so I jump in a car and go and get one that size, or already stretched canvas, or maybe not. But when does it begin? It already has. That's my answer. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, it really just begins when you have this sudden feeling, this itch to paint, and usually that sparks from general happiness or just kind of a depression or something like. There's like a
An
sadness
emotion.
or some kind of emotion like anger, anything. I actually painted something because I had an extreme nostalgia one time. Like,
Yeah?
I went to the beach for the
Was that
first
the way?
time.
There you go. I
Yeah,
knew you were coming with that.
for the
Yeah.
first time in like 10 years. And then I was like, I gotta paint this. This is too great.
Because it something clicked
Mhm.
inside of you, right?
hmm
And translate it for me. You had this feeling, and then you ate some pizza and it went away, or how did talk to me?
It do be like that sometimes. Sometimes I mean, you just get this itch and it goes away, and you're like, oh man, I wanted to paint something, and you just don't always have the opportunity to. But most of the time, it does come back in some way or form. And you don't always express it just through painting. Sometimes you just draw something. Sometimes,
Yeah.
well, even this is kind of like a creative thing, like just talking about art.
For sure.
Just it can come out in any way we really want to. It doesn't just have to be painting.
Well, specifically for us, that there
Oh,
is
yeah, that is
the
our-
art thing.
That
But
is our main.
That is, I guess that's what
thing.
I was trying to get at the very beginning, that you can relate to this because whatever the emotional, visceral moment
Mhm.
that you have, what is your outlet? For some people, it is like a lot of talking.
I've actually taken a liking to live theater lately. I really like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how does that, are you, I know music, people get connected with music.
No, I feel the music too. I mean, sometimes there's just a creative itch that you can't get out any other way than just like playing a guitar or a ukulele or something.
Or you just sit and listen to a song, right?
It's just not the same if you just sit and listen to it rather than actually playing it.
Well,
And
I would agree.
in my opinion, it's just not as. It just doesn't give you that satisfying feeling of playing it at the same time.
It is deeper.
Dawson, he has learned so many songs, and he actually learned the guitar solely because he wanted to play this song.
Oh,
that was
boy.
the original reason why he picked up the guitar. And then he started learning all these other songs like Bad Moon on the Rise by CCR. That's one of my favorite songs personally.
Yeah.
He also learned Hotel California by the Eagles. I mean, me and Dad are both really big Eagles fans.
Yeah, no
We
doubt,
love
for
it.
sure. I grew up with them. You didn't.
I didn't
did.
grow up. I had to teach myself because you didn't make me listen to it.
Yeah, well, if you discover it yourself, man, it's even deeper. So, but all of that, even that right there, all of it is on the heels of someone else's creative
Yeah.
moment, someone else's creative process. I'm fascinated. Oh, I'm addicted to the whole docuseries peek into an artist's life, any kind of artist. From the rock climbing free solo movie we just finished watching. To me, he's
I'm
an absolute
I'm a bigger
artist.
fan of the Dawn Wall.
The Dome Wall.
Yeah.
No, that one. Tommy
Well,
Caldwell.
yeah,
awesome.
I just like Tommy as a person.
Tommy's a
better.
cool guy.
Yeah.
But
He-
to me, I translate them as artists. Some people say, "Oh, now you're stretching it, Sonny." No, I'm telling you, that itch that you just talked
Mhm.
about. Well, it comes in the form of a chalk bag
Yeah.
and a harness, and you go climb that wall, and you find that piece, that thing that allows you to breathe.
It really just comes down to what is your definition of art.
I couldn't do it,
Yeah, I couldn't define art because there's so many outlets for it.
not completely. I'm always open to
Mhm.
someone else's expression of what they do.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for someone in their
then again, there's just people who splash some paint on a canvas and say it's art, and you're just like, no,
Well-
you're just trying to get a quick buck,
yeah,
and
that-
somehow it works.
Oh my God, I guess it does, and
just don't get it. It means serenity, and
well,
no, it
and then
doesn't.
that-
It's just a splash on a canvas.
and that gets to the whole thing of where does it come from? What does the
Mhm.
creative process look like? And that's why I said in the very beginning, it's been there already. You just have to force yourself to sit long enough. When I say sit, I don't mean physically sit necessarily, but I
Mhm.
mean be still long enough to hear it. And you're right. Sometimes it's here and it's gone. That's because we don't obey it. Whatever that thing is that you feel that pull to, that draw to,
Mhm.
you ignore it long enough, of course it'll go away. Something else will take its place, and something else not as, fulfilling, It'll fill the hole, but it won't fill it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the process started, it already has. Period. It may have happened years ago, or it may have happened a day or two ago, but it's already happening. Now the process, this is when it gets incredibly interesting. As a professional, we have inside the studio here, we have little corners and sections of things that are kind of tucked away, but that's only because we got to be able to walk through, okay? Yeah. I can't just have everything out and then just step all over everything all the time. But
that would be ideal, though.
We
don't feel like putting stuff up.
It
ever.
Would be awesome.
We never clean up anything unless we absolutely have to.
I know it sounds disgusting, but I promise you, creatively speaking,
well, I mean,
the
like
creative process is to get it. Well, okay, now that we get to.
It's just more painting stuff. It takes you out of the creative moment if you have to clean up everything.
And that cleanup specifically, hear him now. Yeah. It's to the brushes that are out and the cups of water.
Okay, yeah, we will do that. We'll like throw out the water, clean the brushes off. That's like the bare minimum of what we do.
Well, it's because we want to be able to, after we get exhausted, have that little moment, take a step back, look at it, soak it up, take it in. Boom, something else hit, and you got to jump back in there. If I have to drag out all that stuff every single time, there goes the moment.
Yeah, my friend was
done.
My friend was disgusted when I showed her a picture of the studio. She was like, "Oh my God, how do you paint in that?" And I was like, we don't like to put stuff all over.
Listen, make sure you get the right image in your head. It's not like trash bags of crap everywhere. It really that's no. We have, hygiene, okay? We have the ability to...
It's just clutter.
It's just the clutter of the art utensils and pieces.
We say it's because we're just so right-brained and we don't feel like... But no, we're just lazy. That's it.
Sometimes it is lazy. No, there's no doubt. Sometimes it is lazy.
But
there are other times...
I don't feel like it. I'll do it later.
Well, there's other times when it just... To bounce around that piece just sucks the life out of me. So I really want to be open. Now, that when the piece is done, when the painting is done as we make it, okay? You mentioned that last time at how, holy crap, you never feel like you're completely finished. Yeah. And I feel like maybe I'm as closest as I could get is maybe about 98% finished on something.
I mean,
if it lived with me, I'm going to keep touching it and touching it and touching it.
Sure, but like I think that's partially because there's like this feeling of it's like a bittersweetness that comes with finishing a painting.
Okay.
I think that's partially why we never really feel like we finish it because
you want it to stay alive.
Yeah, you want it to stay with you because it's something that's been a part of you for a while.
There you go. I want it to breathe. That's the other part of this creative process. That's what we're talking about. This whole painting and not and when to do it. It's alive.
Yeah, another reason is that
it's breathing.
As time goes, we kind of grow differently and stuff like that. So we kind of want our paintings to grow with us in a different way.
Oh my God, for sure! I looked at something the other day. I took pictures of some of the Star Wars paintings we did. Being a nerd way back in the day, and I looked at the pictures that I took last night with new versions of these paintings. And the pictures were dramatically different. And I thought, I don't even like what I did 2 years ago. Now I want to do it different. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And 2 years from now, am I going to hate what I've done now? It kind of made me a little like,
you just have
holy crap.
You have to take a deep breath and be like, well, I mean, it's just different eras of it, different eras of how I was feeling. So you kind of have to just take yourself out of it because then if you go over it again, you're missing that season
moment.
Of your life.
You are capturing that moment, and that moment may or may not be within 1 or 2 seconds. I'm talking that moment might be an entire evening. I think tomorrow I'll post another painting on an angel painting that I remember doing almost a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago. And I did it all in one evening. I don't usually paint complete paintings in one evening.
I can do that. If I'm really into it,
it can happen.
But it's rare that I ever really do that.
The way we use texture, the way we build and layers.
We have to let it dry.
It has to dry.
Yeah, we can't just keep packing
it on.
Just
keep slapping it. Yeah, it'll mess up whatever the color is. You paint a blue stroke and then put a yellow stroke on top of it while it's wet, it's going to have a green to it. But if I want that blue and then the yellow to sit on top, and the blue has to be dry. So that's oh my God, that's
Well, the
basic
simple
basic
solution
statement.
for that is to use a blow dryer or a hair dryer, and but I just don't like to use it because it kind of dries it differently. I don't know how to explain.
No,
it.
it doesn't dry it like thick, but there are times when I'm
Yeah. You're
want
just
to
so
get to
in the
that
moment
next
and
thing.
you have to.
I'm gonna dry it, and I hold the brush up. It makes a noise, and we can't listen to the music as well, and all that stuff. I get it, but I'm so focused on that thing. In that moment, the creative process demands some kind of workaround, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's alive. It really is. It's alive.
Like, patience is a big part of it.
Oh, you have to breathe.
But like, there's also a bit of self-awareness in it when you're like, well, I mean, I might not feel like painting this later if I don't paint it now. If I don't get this finished right now, I might not feel like doing it. And so sometimes you just kind of have to push through it.
Push through it. I think that's the what you would call the professionalism part of it. Even a while ago, I said, "Hey, do you want you ready for another Artcast?" And it's it's the end of the week, and we just had some nice moments. And I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. And on my way to the bathroom, I was like, "Do I feel like this?"
Mm-hmm.
And in my heart, I'm going, "No, I'm feeling a little bit of end of the day tiredness, but no, we need to do this. We feed off of this.
Yeah.
The creative process for us in this is that we got to feed the monster. The beast has to keep going, and I can't just blame it on quote unquote creativity. And well, I just didn't feel it, and then don't do it. No, that's laziness.
Sometimes
that is.
Sometimes you don't feel like it in the moment, but then once you do it, you're really appreciative.
You're in
it. You're like, I'm really glad that I did this, even if I didn't feel like it.
And at the same time, sometimes you need to listen to that. I'm really not in it. But there's a difference in being like having a little bit of tiredness and a little bit of wornness, but you're on the verge of jumping in and doing it, and a total mental, emotional breakdown that you just can't push through it. You can't fight it. And you do need to stop, take a breath, repair your soul, and then you're able to have more of a whole piece, a wholesome piece of you inside that painting. When somebody asks me to do something, okay, and I'm listening to their story, and I'm listening to what they want, I have to hear more than just, hey, can you paint a lighthouse?
Yeah.
Can I?
Sure. But like, give me some details.
But do I want to? I gotta really want it.
Hey, you gotta make me connect with you so I can make it personally for you.
The creative process is so keen at that moment, and if you want it to look like it came from my heart, came from me.
And if you want it to look like it's for you personally, then you have to give us some details.
And if it doesn't matter to you, if you just paint me a thing, well, go to Hobby Lobby, go online, go somewhere else and get it, because you won't get you want to spend a ton of money, and you just get the color or whatever.
Yeah. When I was my first ever like really abstract painting that wasn't like more impressionist or anything like that, I was painting it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this to my old mellophone group from marching band. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And I painted it and everything, and I was like, okay, wow, it's missing something. So I go over to people and I'm like, okay, what would you think would be like the mellophone's color or anything like that?
Yeah.
And give me some details. So I added in some green and some light green and light blue because that's what they told me to.
Okay.
In the new one, and I ended up keeping the original one because I liked it so much, and then giving them another one.
Yeah, you were gonna give. I remember that you were gonna give. You painted one
for
them, but then liked it so much you kept it for yourself.
It happens. It really does.
Of course, and that's the best
time,
kind, because you've put so much of your heart into it. You just don't want to let it go.
I was like, hey, Dad, can you give me some critiques on this? Like, what do you think? And he was like, this is your best one yet.
At the time, it was.
At the time, I was like, okay, wow. So far, all I've done is just like played around on expressionist stuff, and I was like, okay.
The texture of it.
Actually, also, I realized it just said impressionist earlier. No, it was expressionist.
Expressionist. Thank you for correcting yourself.
I have to be artistically correct.
Well,
instead of politically correct.
We are. We don't care about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But art, it's life.
I don't care for politics.
Art is life. Oh my gosh. Well, we're too right brain, too free thinker, too let it flow and don't get stuck in your life. Crap. The whole reason why I'm having this discussion is to answer the basic question, Sonny, what were you thinking when you did this? And it's hard to not just answer that question without answering it in a daily life thing.
Yeah.
Because when I wake up and want to do my day, so to speak, well, I wanted to do my day starting weeks ago and months ago, because this day is just a piece, a slice of my life. If you allow yourself to just get lost in the mix, well, there's the rut, okay? Yeah. There's the grind, the bad version of the word grind. Because I can get in the grind when it comes to some of this stuff, because I'm really pushing and feeling the moment and want to get through it. That's when it's a good thing. That's when it feels nice, feels incredible. The grind that I'm talking about in that one is that ditch. Like you're in that ditch, you look up and there's just walls all around you, and you don't care. You lose it. You lose it. And your creative process is just a mess. And I'm trying my best to relate this to whoever you are on whatever day it is for you.
I'm trying to put it into layman's terms.
And well, layman's maybe as far as being artistic in our verbiology.
Well, it's really just trying to put your thoughts and your feelings into words.
I very much am wanting someone to listen to this and not think, oh, well, they're just a bunch of artists want to listen to that stuff. I really do want you to feel like you yourself, you get lost. Yeah. It happens. And what's this? The Coldplay does a song, just because I'm losing doesn't mean I've lost.
Copyright, you're going to get copyrighted.
Yeah, well, I just said they did it. I didn't come up with it. I think what I hear from that, which, by the way, we're artists appreciating what another artist does. I think what I hear from that is it can get you're turned around and tossed and upside down. And in that moment, you feel like you feel like you're lost. Yeah. But really, you're just losing that moment. You're in that place. You're not where you want to be. How do you get out? Yeah. How do you move? There's a difference in the words float and flow. When you're just floating out there, you can be tossed around and move from this way to that way. You have to flow, getting that flow. In a creative process, it's very much a flow. Yeah. In fact, it's all flow. But if you just kind of float around and be random and bounce, it will reflect that in whatever it is that you do. For us, on a painting, you will see that. Yeah. You will see it. But when you see that there's a flow happening, when you study, look, go over a painting, you get your eyes close to it, you take your hands and you start to feel it, because the texture is incredible. That's the worst thing about trying to sell art online. Yeah. The pictures that we take, oh my gosh. The pictures we take are just, they don't do it right. I had to get
this really special lens that really zooms in. It's
like we love it.
I had to get that specifically so that we could get you could zoom in really clear and get the texture.
You go to the site, go to sonnyg.com, and you can see all of the graphical images you see are from that lens that you are in. You can see the texture of the canvas, and then you can see the thickness of the paint. Yeah. That is what we really want to engage as many senses as possible.
Yeah, I was literally outside one day trying to use the best of the lighting that we had. I put the camera down just to get a painting set up correctly. And I looked over at the lens, and I was like, wow, that actually looks like a pretty good painting.
Just laying it there.
A pretty good picture. And I took the picture, and it was like multiple canvases laid on top of each other. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the biggest ones that we use.
Use it on our business card. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's another point.
Sometimes it happens by accident.
We'll wrap this up here in the next few minutes and even do a part 2, because this is a good discussion. Yeah. But, sometimes the creative process, you just open to it.
It's like
and
an
it
epiphany.
Happens.
It's just snap. It happens.
But you have to be open. Yeah. You have to allow yourself to be open to it. And when you are, because if you wanted to be incredibly ABC 1 2 3
Yeah.
tight ship. When you went to pick up that camera, instead of looking at it and seeing where it was, you'd have said, "Nope, it's not where it's supposed to be." And now I'll go over here.
Mhm.
You would have missed it. So guess what? That means that flex, that flow, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't plan it always. And in the middle of a painting, how many times have I changed direction? I felt and saw something that I wanted to do. I start down that direction, and then it morphs a little bit. As long as I'm feeling that, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
In fact, I've yet to be able to paint 100% of what I saw in my head onto a canvas that it didn't have some kind of growing itself. And sometimes it was a technical issue that I tried to do something and go, you know what, that didn't go exactly like I thought, but I like this one better. And if I really hate it when I did it, well, thank God it's acrylic paint, because we can paint over top of it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process too. The creative process is sometimes you're overlapping yourself, and what was underneath affects what's on top.
Well,
That's a
most of the
deep
time-
statement. Don't miss that one.
Yeah.
What's underneath affects what's on top.
Yeah, because like sometimes
Period.
you get. Well, I know it's a deeper meaning, but like sometimes the texture you just can't wipe.
But in a
away.
practical sense, yes. Yeah. Like you paint on a completely black canvas and a completely white canvas. I've got a series I'm doing now I'm calling the Journey series. And I can do a stroke of color that stretches from the light side to the dark side. And it's the same color.
Yeah, but the contrast is.
But the contrast,
drastically different.
it makes the color itself
Yeah.
almost look
It-
completely different.
It's like a context situation. Like the same
There
thing
we
that can happen
go.
in one situation and happening in
Yes.
another can be completely different.
Completely different. And I will be doing kind of a heart-to-heart discussion myself on what the Journey series means, and I've done I think 13, 14 in that series. But it's the idea that for me the creative process is I got attached to it. I saw my life, want to translate it onto a canvas, and I'm just capturing moments. That's what the creative process is about. And in your life, the creative process in your life on a day-to-day basis, you have to see past that losing moment that you're in. Finding that life, I don't know what it is for you.
Yeah.
For us, I hope you connect with us on a level that you can see this is the thing that we found, and we're not just slinging paint on a canvas and saying, hey, it's art. There really is a creative process. I wanted you to talk about the Pianos in Space one, and then it taking the length of time to the other, but to get to the second one.
Yeah.
We're at the 30-minute mark. Let's do a part 2. We might even do it right after this, but
Oh, it's a short story, really. Well, the first one I started it in early 2018.
Yeah.
I finished it this year, July-ish of this year. And the second one I started October, I think, of this year. I've gotten a lot of progress on it. I'm still under the works though. But at this point, I'm kind of completing one painting a year. That's like one major painting a year. I mean, there's a lot of factors into it, but the biggest one is just I don't always feel like painting, and I don't want to mess it up. So I kind of just I don't if I know I don't want to, if I know I'm not right in the moment.
well, that was part of what we said a while ago about sometimes you push through and do it, but sometimes you have to just sort of listen to that thing. Some of it is your availability to get in the studio. Dude, you're a high school guy
I work
that
and
has a job
everything.
and you've got life going. It happens.
I'm just about to start rock climbing. That's gonna be
But
fun.
rock climbing is on the horizon for you. And so, your creative itch, your creative spark, life. That's with the new tagline I've got, art is life. Life is art. For us, the ending of that might be life is something else for you. Just don't get lost. Don't float around and be a lost soul.
Yeah, think of it this way: like you flow through a river, it's leading to a direction. You're not just lost.
Yes.
But when you float, you're like a balloon. It gets lost in space.
Perfect.
That's the way to think about it.
That's perfect. I love it. creative process, it has so much more to do with life than me explaining to you, well, I chose this blue and this white, and I put them together, and I did it this way on a canvas, and hey, there's the piece. It's so much. There is so much more depth to it. When you go through, as we continue to like I said, I promise I'm working on trying to post more of the recent stuff I've done. Go on the Instagram. You'll see more and more stuff happening. I've yet to get it onto the website because it's a little bit of a process doing that. But hopefully sharing little pieces at a time so that someone can go, he's not lying. It's there. It's deep.
Yeah.
So
I think we could talk about this forever.
Oh, this is one that could be a part 1, 2, 10, whatever.
A part 97.
Well,
like
you know
this
what?
will be. That's all the Artcast is just us talking about the creative process.
Well, and you know what? That's what I was getting ready to say. That really and truly, all of these little slices and pieces.
Yeah, we talk about it often. I feel like
it's the process.
Yeah.
It's what our life is. So, anyway, all right, Bubba. Hey,
well, good night,
I
Vietnam.
enjoy it. Yeah. Good night. Well, you brought that back, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'll give you that. That was pretty.
It's a callback.
That was clever.
I'm sorry. Should I say it like I did earlier? Good night, Vietnam.
Yeah. You kill me. All right, Bubba.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks for listening again. Love you, dude.
Thanks for tuning in, and tune in next time for the next series.
All right, Bubba. Always enjoy with you.
All right.
Love you, dude.
Good night, Vietnam.
Peace and love.